Get to one of the most consequential results of the weekend. It came on Friday night when Brisbane went over to Perth and beat Fremantle on their home deck. And it was the way they did it which I found this quite staggering, because it was right from the outset, the manner in which they were just chipping the ball around right throughout. They took 147 uncontested marks. This was a game plan that Chris Fagan must have set up before the match.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all know that Brisbane are more likely to win when they're able to get the game on their terms and take marks and uncontested marks like this. And stood here last week and highlighted St Kilda's ability to just consistently change direction and go nowhere. There's 140 uncontested marks, and then there's this as well. Their ability to shift the defence, to wait for something, to be patient, to see what opens up, but then when the kick is on, to take it back through the corridor and then go from there. So somehow at the end of this play, and this is a positive for Brisbane, but also a little bit of a defensive breakdown from Fremantle. Yeah. How on earth after that build-up do you have a spare player inside forward 50? So twofold, really good work from the Lions, from their coaching staff and their players to execute that. But for Fremantle to not change their game plan and constantly allow the uncontested marks to get to the point of 147 for a game, they were really, really reactive in that sense.
Speaking of all Australians, we spoke about it before, one man who's going to be right in the mix for that small forward role this year is Zach Bailey. I reckon this is just about goal of the year, this overhead effort that he kicked. He had 28 disposals and 2 goals. This was one of the best you'll see all season, I reckon.
Yeah, it was really reminiscent of Nate Caddy.
Yes.
He did it up at the Gabba, funnily enough, but he was a little bit further out. He said post-match he doesn't think he's ever actually kicked a ball like that, and he had no idea how that went in. But for me, that is goal of the year. He absolutely nailed it from that far out, and there's only one way that could go. It was either going to be an absolute disaster or goal of the year.
So Brisbane's top 4 chances now back on the agenda, and if they do make top 4, they're going to be a hard side to beat come finals time, because this is their record against the top 9 this season, 8-4. And they've only failed to record a victory against 2 sides in Adelaide and the Giants so far this season against the top 9.
Yeah, they're a big team. They're big team players at the moment. Yeah. Big games. When they're playing teams inside the top 9, they turn it on. Really, we've seen games where they've struggled to turn up. They have been inconsistent at times, but you just feel like they're firepower, and when there is a game that's there to be won and lost, they are the team that does show up 9 times out of 10 and gets the job done. So I think they're going to be a very dangerous prospect for any team that comes across them in the finals again this year.
They certainly are. What a missed opportunity, though, for Fremantle at the other end of the spectrum, because last year they lost their last 4 straight games. They were 3rd after round 20 and then missed out on finals. This year they'd won 5 straight. They were right on track. They just needed to win that game at home. Now, next week's clash against the Western Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium shapes as an elimination final for them. They'll go in underdogs for that game, though. They've got their backs against the wall right now, the Dockers.
Yeah, they do. And obviously the Bulldogs play West Coast tomorrow, but then it's all eyes going to be at Marvel Stadium when the Bulldogs play Fremantle, because if most things go the way that you'd think they would play out, and I'll probably be made a fool for saying that because of the way that things have gone the last couple of weeks, but you think that game against Fremantle and the Western Bulldogs is going to be the one that sets up the final spot inside the 8. And it is a case of deja vu for Fremantle fans, because they know the story. They saw the movie last year. They saw how it played out. So they would be hoping that it is a very different outcome for the end of this season.
They are going to be incredibly stiff if they miss out, though, with 15 wins. That's a remarkable fact. All right, Nat Fyfe, he announced his retirement earlier this week as well, and we think it's his final game at Optus Stadium. So he just had a really nice moment at the end of this one. Obviously a disappointing result, 57-point losers to the Brisbane Lions, but a dual Brownlow medalist, played in that grand final, Fremantle's first ever grand final in 2013. What a great career it is for Nat Fyfe.